Well, hello and welcome back to the NECC, where Counter-Strike is indeed back on the menu. My name is Vincent, joined by Get the Bag, Mark. And Marky, I'm pumped up to be here, man. How are you doing today?
Doing excellent. Happy spring semester. We're already in this thing to February. It's week one to kick this thing off in the NECC circuit with a couple of great teams to get this going.
Week two. You know,
Week two.
we were a little late. You know, it happened.
Ah.
But what we do have is a fantastic matchup. It's Nichols going up against Drexel, which honestly I'm excited to see more from this Drexel squad. This is a team I've gotten to watch a whole lot of, and Nichols a team that I feel like has kind of been on the move up here in the space over the last couple of seasons, and I'm excited to see a little bit more of. That being said, both of these teams coming in with an 0-1 record, so week one wasn't so perfect.
Yeah, it was definitely a little bit of a bumpy ride, but I think where you take a look at the players that you see at the bottom of your screen, you recognize RYN. I think this is a guy that we've seen play on a couple of top advanced teams, or rather top main teams in the bottom of advanced, if my memory serves me correctly. I think Fugi, a guy I definitely seen bounce around there, Vincent. We got to see where exactly they are going to wrestle this thing out. To that first map, it's going to be Ancient.
Yeah, Fuki's been vibing on that squad as well up in advance. So definitely some individuals to talk about and to watch. But like you said, a matter of where we shall go. Starting out on Ancient, Drexel taking the CT side to begin with, and moving on to Mirage. That's been a bit of a home for this Drexel team, this iteration of it. And then Anubis, should we require it, which I'm always excited to see a little bit of Anubis if we need to get there. Last week, Drexel gave Syracuse a real run for their money. It took 3 maps in an eventual loss, whereas Nichols, it was a struggle, but against Fisher College. So I don't really think that means a whole lot about like their chances today or what that is defining wise for the rest of their season, considering that's such a strong opposition. But here's what I'm kind of looking towards. I'm looking to see kind of where this Ancient measures up a little bit, because I have some troubles defining what my expectations are coming into this series, just because I feel like I have maybe a slight bias towards Drexel because I've seen them for so long. I've just gotten the opportunity to cast them so many times. But this is a very different Drexel team than even we last saw. So I think it's important to keep that in mind. So we'll see what Nichols has on their map pick of Ancient.
Yeah, it's going to be Drexel, obviously. Hop into their choice. They hop up on that defensive side of Ancient, where you'll have at least a comfortable attempt at a start. But I think, the name, we do hop into a bit of a tech pause at the start of this, as we
South America?
Man, that's what I'm saying. Always a reason to pop this up at the start. But Bite, obviously, Hollow, a couple of names you might recognize. Foxy the Babe is, going to be a name I at least am going to be remembering walking out of this.
You a big fan?
It's just peculiar, like Complex Fox.
That's true. It is interesting. We got 2 foxes.
Fox diff.
Fox diff.
Yeah, we're gonna be keeping track of that for sure.
Yeah. Fun fact. I did some like tentative looking about Complex, to be specific. Has had some time in different esports. Has put a lot of time in as a coach over in Rocket League as well, which is pretty cool to see. Yeah, that's it's always difficult being a multi-sport athlete.
You would know. You're a multi-sport e-commentary athlete, some would say.
I don't know if that's how I would describe it, but
I would describe you as that, yes. This guy is pretty humble. I don't know if you noticed. We have like a multi-sport commentator behind the prod today as well. We have a pretty secured production here today.
Yeah, lots of talent around the squad and in the server, and that talent getting a chance to start to talk with the game they're about to play in round number 1. Nichols will get the mid play going. Beauty of this mid play is there's a lot of options. You can maneuver wherever you want to. How has F stayed alive for so long and then gotten a kill? Unreasonable.
Definitely so. You talk about a lot of options. Well, this is definitely the first, and right here within these back lines, this is not the player that's supposed to take this first batch of contact into committing to these fights. It's supposed to have that swing. There's nobody there to actually ride off the back of it. It's a 2 versus 4 here with Bite. That's going to be looking to go a little bit louder in the back hall. Drops down below, and there's 3 players that we can see through our X-Way all the way in Donut. That's a good kill to pick up at least at the start of this, but you got to get going.
I mean, F's got a kit. That's a big upside, but yeah, 3 strong in Donut is just so difficult to break open. Nichols don't have to swing until the very last moment. They're going to hold it, though. Drexel, wait a second. Oh, they're getting away with it, too. Red will walk forward, and that's a double kill, but it's far too late to actually have any impact on the round. Drexel steal away that pistol.
Little bit ridiculous. You come up off the cusp there. Drexel just bullies their way in right through at the end. Yeah, that definitely, don't see many of those bend that direction all the way back, Vincent. I would definitely hold on to this one, but surprised you don't fully invest into the force right here, because they could have got utility with these Galils on top of it, but they're on their own path. They want to get a really strong buy in the next, because who's to say they're not going to be able to cause some damage right now with, you look at a cave, kind of an open lane.
Yeah, and some upgrades too in the mix here. It's not as if it's nothing. Now Fugi will go down early on, and this is a pretty loud scale as well. It's Foxy on the other side, and a little dynamic duo with Bite from the site turns on a dime. Nicely defended, as Foxy the only one to fall. That's not the damage that Nichols were hoping for.
Gonna be definitely a little bit awkward, though. You get up in there, expecting for a gunfight, Vincent. There's nothing on the other end. Those Tech 9s can kind of stampede out. They were a little bit separated into the site. It's a little bit awkward to get that off the cusp. I don't want to be too crass, but it feels like that was a little bit of a wasted eco round.
What do you mean? I'm curious. I don't know if waste is the word I would use. Got a kill. Hoping for more, but it doesn't always happen.
Looking for gold, at least through here with the cave peak. At least gonna get that opening frag here. Okay, even on the shadow advantage, Bite is definitely gonna be swallowing that bullet, just rolling it right back up into the side. And Nichols, they look to have all the way lock on P. Complex Fox with a hell of a kill. This thing should be shut all the way out. Drexel should go ahead and save, and first round on the board for T's.
Feels like Nichols, you talk about some of the individuals, and I think some of the, the most experienced and best players on the server right now are on Nichols' side of the equation. So when you're talking about a T side being able to be explosive and break open a bomb site like that, you're looking to somebody like Fugi, like Rin to make that happen. And, it's so valuable, as we just saw. Drexel don't even get a chance to try for a retake. They just got to sit back and save. And Tricks are holding on to an AWP. That is going to be nice. Addition to the next round. I'm looking at the money. I don't know if it's going to be a next round purchase.
That didn't have, like, any makings of a bonus buy around it. They were a little bit worse off the cusp there. I guess that maybe if they didn't, experience even that little bit of damage from that eco round attempt, you would be sitting a little bit more pretty right now. So I guess definitely not a waste there, Vincent.
Ooh, Okay, eventually they'll all go in. I was looking at how an even Drexel were investing, and I was a little bit concerned. But, it's a team effort, right? A team that's buying and saving together is going to be in a better position overall, even if, maybe you wouldn't have done the same thing. That's a shot attempt there for Trixer, but a difficult one considering the jump spot. Nichols ensuring that there's nothing easy coming in the early stages of this fourth round.
Trixer gets mobile, too. Kills Ryan there from cave. That's one that they're going to have to hold on to. Something was saved here. But F on the other side of the map takes out one of their larger swinging players. As now Drexel sits up just 2 men. But They still feel it. Right now, they're going to have to respond to the pressure that does come through here off the cusp. Thankfully, the MP9s will get the damage first. In the second swings, you might not even have to hear that op sound off again. It just puts it down for the third on Drexel's side.
I mean, that's when you have an advantage in that you have in Trickster's AWP available. Make sure you utilize it. A cheeky boost at B that doesn't end up paying dividends, but a very maneuverable, as you pointed out, in Trickster ensures that Drexel, losing out on that first opportunity, don't miss out on a second or even a third, as he keeps on the move. A little bit of an oversight for Nichols on the later stages of that round. Considering 5 alive, you might expect to see him. That's a lot of damage, though. At least I thought it was onto Foxy. Ends up getting the smoke off instead in order to limit the damage done to the Molotov. That's good utility, though, for Nichols, even though they're not behind it in mid.
Very heavy towards the back of this door as well. Just now flashing into the rest of B. Very, very paranoid of the AWP that could be around, and all rather that much of the space already bit off here by Drexel, but it was just that scare through the first 60 seconds, and there hasn't been a frag to come alongside it. And the op is going to be sitting over towards that A side at this point in the round, but its rotate player Hollow to respond to whatever's going to follow suit here is definitely going to be your big decider factor, even if that does mean responding to middle with the utility you see coming out now.
Yeah, pressure being ramped up in this area. F taking a little bit more of a passive stance in Donut as well, trying to help cover the AWP, as mentioned. Back towards the A site, but it's currently watching towards A main, not towards Donut, where the entirety of this attack is going to maneuver. 20 seconds left. Mark, they gotta go.
They do. Have just blocked up here. The AK, this could just be an absolute farm. 2 enough to stop him up should be okay. In the back line to Trickster at the A site. That position does pay off. Off of the bomb, 8 seconds left, trying to chase him down. Passer at this point just needs to secure a little bit of money, and you can't even get that far. So far, Drexel are swinging hard with 4 alive back-to-back in these last 2 rounds.
I mean, that's massive when you're talking about Drexel doing a lot with, a little bit considering the saved rifles previously, then just allowing Nichols to, define what they want to do first and then reacting to it. It's a very passive approach that Drexel were working with there, but when F is going to make up a double kill, it's okay to be so passive. You saw even the time pressure starting to become a factor for Nichols at the end of that round. We're going to speed it up, though. No longer that slow approach. Nasty HE, and Bite's going to rip one through the smoke. Foxy, the supportive element on the back of the site, and it's a 5-piece from that duo.
Yeah, shifting into gear right away. What's happening now? This is looking like me and you in the server, man.
More like you on me, but we'll go with it.
Okay, way to point fingers.
I'm pointing fingers. My finger's pointed right at you.
So you're telling me that I'm bringing the fun, I'm bringing the party, and maybe the troll as well.
You do both of those. I will agree.
There you go.
We take both of those with a smile.
Heck of a way to celebrate as well. Thankfully, we're all good into it. Not through the nades, though. Bite finishes off the job. But they are, again, reaching so quickly into this ramp, and you do get that trade up on the cusp. Nothing looking to reach out of that corner for now. Foxy the Babe is about to get into a gunfight, and Ryan has got that, at least into a 3v3. But you see the flank coming onto the minimap, it's got to be Hollow that puts up a pretty big defense right now. That's a lot of damage, so it should be fine for it, but they're just going to be catching up now.
I mean, staying alive, though, that's important. Oh, but that's a massive kill. Once again, Ryan doing some incredible work. In Trickster, though, that flank activates, and now they've got to reposition. Out in the middle of the open, though, Complex Fox hits a stunner, and now Ryan might be low, but Hollow, his position well known previously. Is he going to be able to clear it out? No, not the diligence. It's a 3-piece there for Ryan that ensures a second round for Nichols.
A little bit unlucky. Can't find it exactly in that corner there. But Drexel finally get a little bit, caught up to. It's a little bit funny when you're coming back-to-back and then you get 5 alive, right? Back-to-back 4 all on the board. And you can see their banking outs paying off for it. And really, there's only one player that can't rebuy, and it's F at the moment. So Drexel will stand confidently either way.
Yeah, and then they got the rebuy, and they're going to be feeling good about that. Ooh, that's a ton of damage onto Fugi. Difficult position with an AWP, especially without a lot of support, to be honest with you. Now Complex Fox attempting the entry prowess, but it's Basher towards Cave that loses his life, and it's not looking great as they sweep in from mid side as well.
Quickly collapsing in all this. Fugi not the player I expected to be 1-5 at this measure in the game. Foxy making her way down the ramp, but Bite with the slick spray right through in it. And I feel like this has been oh so quick, Vincent. You're already at that 6-2. This is looking a little bit scary here in the first half.
Yeah, I can't say that Nichols have impressed yet. Now, granted, T side, it can be very difficult, I think, to, especially when you start off on a little bit of a struggling foot, which they did. You know, it's an economic snowball effect that CTs can really take advantage of. So you got to keep that in mind. But I'm right there with you. This is a bit of a struggle early. This is wild from Eutectics. Absolutely crazy. Whoa. Somehow gets the shot off, and it's a trade out, though, and he pulls the USP. That's confidence that's going to be deadly.
Just standing with the A4, holding mouse 1. It is 4 out of it. Maybe just to come up, it's that third that actually does come off the cusp. But Basher going to play for the kills right now. Bomb on his back, Vincent. Already 2 names. He is just draining around like this, and look, a minute 10 is a long time, but giving up maybe a little bit of a clue here. Elbow seen, and Foxy is green. That is 7-2 for Drexel.
I can't believe that Drexel get away with such an outrageous mid hold. Like, the fact that Eutectics gets anything out of that just shouldn't be possible. Visual returning and then bailed out big time by that triple kill from F. Nichols, though, at least can lean on the fact that he did some damage on that eco round. It's been troublesome trying to test this B-sided utility as well. Nichols falling off of it and looking towards A instead.
They're going to finally meet Eutectics here alone. And you either hit the shots or you lose the sight. All the way on top of the box, too. That's going to be a tough one. Double dips, and he's got his second on that op. Well enough to buy time for Hollow to get here. Puts down the incendiary and just gets 1. Makes it into the 2. And what a very good A-hold that Drexel is just supported in with not even the timely rotates.
Yeah, I mean, this is... Eutectics having a really high impact moment with the AWP. As I said in the last round, I mean, confidence can be a killer, but it can also be such an asset. And we saw the duo of that, you know, the back and forth of what that means between last round and this round with Eutectics' position. So aggressive, unknown, and unanticipated there for Nichols. 8-2, and it's looking like it might be even more. Nichols go into a ditch effort sort of buy. They'll get what they can, but it's not everything they want.
A little bit more aggressively, more of a lot more aggressively into Cheetah, just off the rip of this, but there's 3 players here for Foxy to deal with. Go ahead and make it the 4. It's Ryan to run down, at least with that Mac 10 to start it off, but it's Bite that takes a huge one out of it. It's 3 on this position. Vincent and Drexel is just lining up a huge hold at every spot.
I mean, Bite wanting the 4-piece doesn't quite connect onto it, but Deeb's already made low because of that. And now the op located into position. Ooh, what a timing on that swing from F. The smoke going down, that might allow them to grab the bomb and escape. That's a little bit of a mistake maybe, but it's not grabbed just yet. Pookie give it a go, but Deebs makes his way out, and yeah, that's just giving coverage to these guys so that the op can't actually make its impact known.
Molotov up for the clutch now on the opera that held so well in the round prior to. He's going to serve one up either way, playing this well. Tucked up on that other side of the square. Vincent would need to hit a collateral if so. That's why you switch out to the AK, try and split them apart, but they've got it in the third round alongside.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, it's hard to be too critical of Drexel with the scorelines like that, but that smoke is what allows NECC back into the round. It just provides some coverage, allows for Deebs to creep out of the smoke and get into position to deal with F over and long, and, I mean, it makes it impossible for Eutectics to do his job. There's no coverage for the AWP because the smoke is up. That's Drexel placing the smoke where a Molotov probably should have gone, and losing the round because of it. After a bite 3K hold that should have been round over.
It's up on this position. They'll take those fights and they will win them easily. I'm still hanging around in the middle, but I think you're going to need to get on that rotation. However, look at how you've closed off this B site, even with the lost bodies, just with one smoke. This re-aggression in middle may just be everything here, but I think Drexel finds out how important this might just be. So there's the pressure looking back upon them, and unfortunately held onto by Basher. But do they expect the second player? Are you going to expect it to be an opper? And Trixer misses a very important one, but you're just bouncing around side it. Fugi goes down, and just on the 10th kill, Ryan's just going to chase him down, but Foxy could be in position just at the right time. The spray through does connect with one.
Still, long way back into this round here for Drexel. Foxy doing some hefty lifting already to make that maneuver, and he might be in the perfect location. In fact, that's a freebie. Nobody with guns out now, low HP, but the op, it's looking in the right direction, watching and waiting for NECC a fourth round, an imperative victory to set them up for a CT side.
And this is where they could potentially kind of lean some of this back. The errors of their T side, you can, wait till you get this up on a Mirage and worry about them then. This is where Drexel managed to open up shop. Is it going to be down to maybe your game plan wasn't so well in the T side? Now you just have to focus on, the easy part, Vincent, and Erqua is hitting the shots.
Yeah, I mean, it's easy till it's not happening. Let's see what the plan is here. Drexel smoking a couple of flashbangs for the A play that's coming. NECC into a pretty B-centric setup. Fast on the move, though. The CT smoke in place, going to make that rotation a little less effective. Deeb's just sitting here waiting for Fugi to make the play, and that's so unfortunate. Hollow eventually checks, double checks and triple checks so that Deeb's doesn't get away with it.
At least the frag back through Brokey. Here, Ryan trying to break in right through. Basher keeps it alive with the P2K, and Drexel do hang on to things, but Ryan does look to rush in. That's a very nice headshot posted up, but now it's all going to have to be left on Ryan. And again, they're going to be grouped up well, and Bite just absolutely clotheslines him. 9-4. They get up this pistol round. It's in 15 frags on top of it. That's a very, very nice keep you've had on this first map already.
Yeah, that's where my eyes were locked onto as he picks up another double, and it's making it look easy at 127 ADR, leading the server in more ways than one. No force buy here for NECC, and understandably so. They don't really have the bandwidth to go for any aggressive maneuvers. Fast towards mid, they're just going to stack them up. Drexel, I thought it was a speedy play towards A, but they're going to wait on the utility. It's smoke that is out, but it's not going to be towards Donut. That's where the majority of these NECC players are going to be locked up and loaded.
Oh, and it may just be a little bit rushing here with the USBs. At least one in around that corner. You get the pistol, and you held on to this one, and Trixer tried to get it down with the Glock at the end of the day. I don't think that was in Trixer. It was right next to him. Maybe that was Foxy with the Glock.
I think it was Hollow.
Who's our suspect?
Sure. I think it was Hollow. Either way, I mean, it's good work done. That's for sure. And Bite will go back into a MAC 10 as well. Not going to be a lot of one-head armored opponents for that to take care of. Tons of damage. Great utility to start off this mid play. And Complex has a triple kill to stop it in its tracks. This is a dominant round. This is what NECC needed.
Absolutely. This is where you can open up shop and sort of like how Drexel did. 4-5 alive, confident win. And Trickster with this Khalil try to hang around mid. Maybe a little bit too long. Is going to be getting one frag out of it and just has to walk into the fire, walk into the bullets. Kind of chooses both. Either way, you get that 5th round on that CC-sided board.
That'll do. I mean, it's a really good mid protocol that Nichols just showed off right there. You know, Complex hit the frags, but those made so much easier by the fact that everybody was 50 HP-ish, maybe even a little bit less, thanks to good utility, good nades, and Molotovs for Nichols' start. One more reinvestment for Drexel to start this half off, though. Maybe they can bring it back.
Already up into B, got that kill, trade immediately out, and now you realize what you've been left out on. Ryan, as much success as he's had on the other side of this cave spot, he's stuffed in Cheetah and has to find a way back in. Drexel, they found themselves in insane spots, but Ryan, that's a clear. That can change this. No one's going to be expecting that position from Hollow. A little bit ridiculous here. We've let this player right at the ramp and into the site. Thankfully, Hollow's still in the back lines. You're getting bombed from both positions, and now Hollow swings in at the end of this round. They've just whiplashed the economy of Nichols and now taken complete control of this game.
Yeah, a lot of moments of back and forth actually in this round. Foxy in such a difficult position, so alone. His position then made known by Ryan and just hard cleared. That's difficult, but then Hollow, it's such a grimy spot to be in. I mean, you're tilted every time you die from that angle if you're Nichols, and it doesn't change there. He arrives on scene and key victories as well on the site. Trades effective, and Drexel right back into the driver's seat of this one.
Hollow spams in for 2 at the start of this round. They finally just separate him. But a start like this, it's going to be really hard to argue with Drexel not finding 12 with the A site, one of the hardest to retake. Steve's really the key into this thing with Donut now just, rounding the corner with 3 players alongside it. They are not going to be letting anything get back on this A side.
No, though maybe Ryan can be the difference here. Oh, but left unchecked.
Okay.
Oh, that is so intelligent, Deebs. It's just based on the fact that he's not being watched is what gives it away. Now the swing comes forward, and there's so much damage done, but the time starting to expire, and there isn't a kit either, so I don't think he's got this.
It may just be a little bit too short. Great efforts, but it's still 12. Delivered for Drexel, Vincent. And right here, it's Nichols' map pick that is almost about to slip under them. They'll be backed up all the way against the wall, that is for sure now.
I'm glad you bring that up, Mark, because it is very difficult when you look at this being their pick and the series up ahead. Mirage in the cards. This is just it's a scary prospect. You're not seeing, I think, the best from some of these key impact players that we were anticipating from Nichols as well. Fugi having a bit of a struggle.
Light running up pretty quickly. If you could get this one out just in a jiff, right? I think there's any map to turn around your series. It may just be an opportunity of Mirage to let your players shine. Basher, not in this thing yet, and maybe will be as soon as Ryan will attempt this 1 versus 4. Vincent, bomb right around the corner. Wondering if Ryan will get the spot on it. Does, but Bite to have this thing down into the end. 13-5, Drexel, they eliminate Nichols' map pick.
Yeah, and in dominant fashion, too. An incredible map out of Bite, who drops 18 and 10. I mean, just an individual performance, though, across the board there from Drexel. They showed up, and, even when we're talking about, like, individual impact rounds, think about that round where, in Trickster's got an op, there's one other rifle, and then 3 MP9s. He's getting a double kill in that round. Just high-impact moments across the board. You're looking at Drexel, and you're just impressed.
Yeah, I don't know if like Drexel is like they played a scrim right before this. They look awfully hot breaking in to an ancient like that. It's kind of hard to win ancients based off of mechanical skill that far off the riff, and they kept it up even when you did see Nichols start to warm up, right? I think you are correct about particular individuals maybe not being as warm as we expected, but they certainly had some great gunfights in there. It was just Drexel's individuals that were just that much more on a heater, and a 13-5 scoreline will come to suggest that something was just a little more one-sided.
Yeah, and in particular, when you talk about the idea that, that was a Nichols team that looked, from the utility perspective, like they had a pretty good understanding of what they wanted to do, how
Yeah.
they wanted to approach things. We didn't get to see it very often, but their T side, like mid default, actually looked really good. I love the utility they were putting in, making it difficult to play up on Shelf or play on Tetris. Like there's a lot of good stuff in there. Unfortunately, I'm with you. We just saw, Drexel do that, but better. And then on the individual level, they were a little bit of a step above. The good news is for Nichols, it is an easy mode.
Yeah.
That is their map pick that they've lost, but it is Mirage. It is up next. And that's always a map, doesn't matter who you are, that you're going to have a chance at. So we'll see you in just a few minutes on that Mirage. The Dragons are off to a hot start, and I tell you what, Marky, they did not stop. There was nothing in their way, and Nichols honestly didn't have any answers on their map pick of Ancient. Is Mirage going to be a different story? What are we looking at?
I mean, on an individual aspect, like I said, I think that there was some certain hope for Nichols, right? Like, even more encouraging than them hitting shots, right? Looking competitive in gunfights may sound a little bit silly, right? But they were on par with a lot of those. I would say that it was just a lot of the like tactics that they were trying to run were maybe a little bit too set forward with how aggressive their opponents were actually being, and they were unable to adjust within that first half, though was that 8-4. However, on this Mirage, it's gonna tend on to who you're gonna see coming out a little bit more upon that heater first, right? And if it's that Nichols side that's going to reset and try and start into another great game, right? They started into that Ancient, we remember, so we'll see how that one does kind of break out, because I mean, it's Mirage, Vincent, right? It kind of just does rely on the momentum.
It does, but listen, I alluded to the fact that Nichols 0-1 right now because they played Fisher College in week one, a difficult matchup, but a matchup that they picked into Mirage themselves. So, the fact that Drexel elect to bring us here is probably not that big of a disappointment to Nichols. And as much as maybe that's a little bit of copium on the map one, difficulties on their map pick, still, if it's a map that these guys are interested in jumping into very often, like it seems like they are, I think that whilst that wasn't a great first start, I do think you can feel a little bit let down maybe by some of the individuals, and I think that can change into a second map.
Yeah, and honestly, bringing up that context is very important, right? It's tough to start your season against, who's going to be fighting at, what we expect to be the wits end of playoffs, right? Fisher College may make you feel a little bit more unconfident here, but like we were talking about in the pregame, some great individuals that you do see on this Nichols side. I don't expect them to be much quiet for very long, especially where you do have an opportunity to present that with these USPs to start, and they'll have to show it pretty quick.
Yeah, pistol round would be a huge relief, that's for sure. Fugi, though, starts it off at 5 HP, and Hollow just going to finish him through the smoke. Knows that there's a low HP bar on the other side of that, and so tracks it down eventually. Smokes are so effective. 3 strong for Drexel in this execute, and it locks Nichols out of the sight temporarily.
Fox just sits right outside here. And this is the one player kind of put on a raft and absolutely just dealt with. Here you have multiple targets to take care of. Rhino's got a good couple of shots. They're breaking right out of spawn, but even just speeding this up, it's Debs right around the corner, and Intrixer has got it down, and so does F with the P250. A great round for Drexel to just look and see that they have that same set of teeth again, just as tough.
And it's another situation where it feels like for Nichols, Ryan has been available so many times to bail them out of situations. And, that one is a situation that's just too far gone already. A 5-on-2, basically, when they start getting into the mix. It's 3 players all coming in from CT spawn. A little bit difficult to be sure, but, well, Drexel, be an interesting idea that they've got. They're spread out here in the default, but a first set of utility going out at A very early on. Are they going to commit off the back of this? I mean, if they do, the site's empty, so, I mean, that's good news. And that's what they're going to go with. Nobody home. Nichols are rushing to get back into position.
And I was speaking about in the first map, right, how I may have criticized their first eco attempt for, the speed throughout. Not really anything you can hammer him down on here. Rotate that stack over and try and cause a little bit of chaos, and it looks like they're doing just so. One frag to show for it, unfortunately, as that entire kill feed gets filled with, unfortunately, Nichols' names on the other side of those barrels. Drexel finds 2 rounds in a row to start this thing.
The pistol rounds are important, but even more so is the first gun round. And I thought Nichols winning the first gun round on their CT side of Ancient, I thought that could be the start of the comeback. It's going to need to be the start of the bounce back here on Mirage, I think. Not a ton of investment, in fact, barely any of it for Nichols last round. They got plenty to work with in this one. No AWP, but I think they'll be okay with that. Can't stop Drexel, though. A onslaught of utility to take the space up in mid.
And already taking that fight, it's right at the top of con. Big win that you get out of the beginning of this thing, especially with the face of Bite on that other side. But even with that frag, you still not have found exactly that control. You do have to give up a little bit of respect. But it's going to have to be this re-aggression, you know, from this con spot. It's about to be confirmed with this utility drop. Maybe a little bit bumpy up the road for Drexel. They dump maybe a little bit more than they suppose. But sitting out a moment for this, it's Ryan on the other side. Even sees the shoulder for it. But now the big swing, and Ryan has got a second and the bomb down.
Yeah, but in Trickster, available, rather hollow for the trade. And Trickster making the move back into A. And Basher's here on scene, but it's not exactly easy. He's got a lot to deal with. Two players on the other side of him. He'll toss a flashbang in to try and ward him off. A fight, though, that he gives away, and maybe that's a step too far as Trickster steps into CT. Bomb can be planted, and Hollow's still healthy, whilst Trickster is low.
You attempt it back-to-back. I don't think there's a kit right here, so you gotta kind of hit on the hammers. Complex drops through. Big sound given away, and Hollow puts them both in the same casket. That's a 2 versus 4, Vincent, that you convert at the start of this thing. That's your first gun round deny. Nichols, unfortunately, off to the same damning start that they were off to on Ancient.
Yeah, it's another Ryan triple kill. That's not enough, too. I'm just starting to feel worse and worse right now for him on this Nichols squad currently. I mean, talk about the heaviest of lifting, and yet still not enough to bring it back. Some incredible work, though, done by Hollow. That's the huge victory that you got to talk about for Drexel. Onto some better pistols. Complex can't escape, though, from the moves up Cat. He's look, give it a go. Attempt there. The swing is so ambitious. Basher, it's his one. But how can he stay alive? Impossible to with Deeves on the back of the site dead. Ryan's going to try and rotate in, but this should be heard. It is. And that should be round pretty much over from here.
Oh, and Basher unfortunately can't find one on the exit. Yeah, it's looking maybe a little bit rough for it. I do actually respect Nichols for, as you commented, right, before that first gun round, not able to maybe upgrade all the way to getting that scope. Should have more than enough money here if that's something that they do wish. Either way, will be fully comfortable with this buy.
And there's the scope. The big green option on the table. If last time the buy wasn't enough, this one should be. Should be everything that Nichols want and need. Now they're gonna not see or hear any of this mid presence that Drexel has been drawing up the last 2 rounds. And that should be a big warning sign. Alarm bells probably off in the heads of the CTs as Basher might need to call in some support because this A play is coming. It's just a question of if Hollow on the lurk is going to take contact first.
And take contact with maybe the Molotov. Does. Sets out maybe a little bit lesser of a spray than intended. Does get a bit of a bite back, and Drexel maybe aren't going to... No way he's getting this close. I was about to say, Vincent, he gets a kill like that, it's just going to be silly. But either way, this is the real fight. Nichols just going to have to stand up to it. Ryan only with one. Luki here backlines with the AWP as Bite sounds off to that Cat player. This is chaos.
And that's a lot of damage done too. Thebes will come in. But it's just that little bit of contact. It does enough of the heavy lifting. It pulls off a player towards B. They rotate towards market side. And now Thebes tries to go to the weapon of choice there on the AWP. But it's just not enough. As I'm saying, Drexel, just that little bit of contact, I feel like that spam being on target might have been enough to spook Nichols into that slight over-rotation. It's so much so that Basher's just on his own. I mean, he's out there on an island against a, very quick A-take. I don't even think that you can lay any blame at his feet. He's in trouble, and he doesn't even have time to communicate it before he's dead.
Deagle peeking out, that's awfully bold, but right here at least we'll find out quickly how this thing does shake up. Those kills are going to be better on the Drexel side. Mirage has been proven to start to lean in that direction, but not these Drexel players out of middle. Fugi is following the sound very diligently.
Oh, I love it. Fugi doing his best bot behavior impression there too on the sound follow. Love to see it.
So we're calling people bots on the cast now.
Hey, okay.
I
Listen,
joke,
I said impression, impression.
I'm not a joke. Whoa.
Yeah, you said it, not me. 6-0 though for Drexel. It's a significant step up even from Ancient, which was good already.
I was about to just speak about it. Complex Fox compared to Foxy the Babe. You know, you're making up a couple of individual differences like this. Ryan trying to go for the upgrade there onto the AK. Unfortunately, does get put down aside from it. But it's a whole lot of these individual fights. Even another one there, one into middle. But Foxy going to continue here into ladder and just legs Fox on the other side. Fox on Fox violence.
That's devastating. The repeak is just an indicator of where Drexel's minds are at, Mark. It's as if they can't miss. They feel like they can't miss. And, well, so many times in Counter-Strike, it is that belief that is what matters. You think you are that guy, you become him very quickly.
Walk right in. There's a headshot. Yeah. Continue this forward with the kit on the back. Smoke bomb is just not located. Not confident with the smoke in time, but not out of this thing technically yet. The bomb blows the smoke open. You just try and serve these up as confidently as you can. Hollow decks you at the end of the day, and Drexel has been yet to be put away.
Nichols just feel very, very much unsure of themselves. And even that eco round that we were seeing, you know, very decisive swing towards mid. Didn't have like a secondary plan of action when the Molotov comes in. On Drexel, they're anything but indecisive. They're heading straight out towards B. Big test though, 3 here? Wait a second, this could be the move. This could be it. Phenomenal flashbangs, they're perma-blind. It allows for Bite to break off 3 assists and then tricks for the double entry. Ryan tries, but he will try for only a moment longer. Basher, what do you have? The A player in such a difficult position. Now he's retaking versus 4.
And DCs. Oh well. He'll be back. Don't you worry about it. Not sure we're going to be too worried about the end of that round, unfortunately, but maybe a little bit worried as to how this Mirage will continue. This thing, Vincent, definitely looking to be without a reach very soon.
Yeah, I'm struggling, to be honest with you, Mark, to see ways back in here for Nichols. On just a very bluntly, on an individual level right now, Drexel are outperforming, and they don't seem to be having any struggles either on the tactical department. All of the little things have been in place, good utility and such. As that was swift. Basher gets back into place quickly, but
oh,
jeez, he had a real gun.
Yeah, what's up with that? At least the punishment down below, not from the same name, but there's Foxy in again. Another body spotted up top, ready to take that fight in pursuit. Foxy, good for 2. Middle of this thing. Round 9, maybe a cleaner ordeal than we expected, Vincent. Fight with that headshot, and Drexel, they get 9 in a row.
I mean, I feel like Drexel are set in stone with what they want to do. Always so aggressive, at least here on Mirage. And an unstoppable force. F just decides, hey, the Deagle might be fun to play with this round. And it's a nuts shot to start the proceedings. Ryan will go to the op. try and punish a move like that once again.
Double digits on his end. Complex Fox is seeing his teammate alongside Khan get that opening kill, and that's on the bite. Might be the Fox that is actually going to be called to attention here at the catwalk, but the rest of the Nichols is now going to be having to respond to attention. There's a frag on the A side and maybe a leak up on it as well, but Ryan is there looking for a third.
Unspotted at the bottom of connector. That's massive, though, as Fugi, the secondary op, gets into the mix. It's Eutectics who's going to have to try and play a recovery game here. First and foremost, let's search to find the bomb up at top mid. We'll chop up one duel. How about another one? But Ryan and his op. 4 is enough. We found the magic number to get Nichols up on the board, it seems.
Man, oh man. You're right here splitting it. Didn't let him go 10-0 beside it, but just when Drexel were living up that first round, it was obviously whiplashed back at the start of that Ancient by the side of Drexel. So we're going to see if the same treatment is within that reach. I was going to say the full AK buy, but my eyes met the bottom of Bite's cam right now. The P90. What is happening?
He's sending it. It's the B-Rush,
oh,
and with
Lord.
the proest of 90s, a headshot will come through. Fugi arrives on scene, but if they get the smokes up, I mean, double op retake, 2v4? I mean, this is so difficult to start.
Holding it, and Fugi's got another there, a secondary opera ringing in, but this is the B site. Would have to get awfully mobile and probably awfully lucky to be right place, right time in the center of these, as even caught up to via that catwalk position. It's going to be in crunching now. One very expensive retake at the foot, and Fugi, he's got another going mobile, and your empty pillar. It's F that is going to be shutting that off one way. Now Ryan going to have to get on top of this, and Hollow just going to be cracking him in the head. So now Drexel's got 10.
Well, there's Fugi finally having some of that impact to triple kill that we've been talking about, but is it too late, Mark? I think it might be. Drexel not missing a beat, and yeah, Bite, it's the P90 that provides the entry. We already saw how effective the flashbangs that he was throwing previously. This time he wanted to get in the mix and showed us what he can do, as if Ancient wasn't enough of an indicator of what that meant. 3B hold. Not quite. We're going to run it back again.
Bite. Oh, again with the P90. He knows what he's up to. Thankfully, going to get shut down for it, but I wonder if the rest of the Nichols squad is going to be feeling the same speed, just in the right spray for that empty pillar fight. Complex Fox just going to be decked out in that smoke. Maybe even spotted onto that second cat player. However, here comes the timing. F on the other side is going to go down, and it's a 2v2. No way Drexel pulled themselves back into this round. They're just getting bullied back and forth, and Ryan is about to pick up another.
Well, you thought so. I mean, he got the look, he got the peek, but through the edge of the wall, I mean, Hollow just weathers the storm of all the hailfire of bullets going his way. Basher 1v2, that's the headshot in, and that will help you out significantly. Knows where Hollow's located, but just not going to swing. Not going to take the first bait, and then swings on the timing to send them to an 11-1 scoreline. Drexel, 1 up, 2 up, 3 up their performance of Ancient, and show Nichols what their map pick looks like.
Goodness me. Yeah, I guess even that just little improvement, that's going to be enough of a statement. All for your own books. Pistol around on the board here. And enough sense to at least make this thing a little bit competitive here at the start. Nichols to pull off a round like this would definitely breathe them new life. And, I mean, wherever Ryan's headed, making sure at least it's first, right? Gonna have to be a hell of an entry path, but the entire team is not locked on here. You do seem to have Fugi maybe catching up late on maybe have contact in from Cat.
I mean, you can just look at the fact that the entire team doesn't have the kills that currently Ryan does. That's the impact.
Ooh.
And oh, he just gets beheaded. What a perfect headshot. Missed shots, though, is going to allow some entries to continue to roll through. Fugi gets a double, and that is the bomb recollected. Fast flank, though, coming.
Maybe not fast enough. Bomb going to go down now. Waiting for Eutectics, who's Now just thought to have caught up. It's going to be such an awkward fight on the way down. No way he could be ready for something like that. And Trickster, long range, is decked with the Glock. And NECC, they've got that second half pistol.
I mean, considering that starts off with Ryan getting absolutely mollywopped in the air, trying to jump out of the window, I'd say that goes swimmingly. Huge impact, though, out of Fugi, who's had an incredible step up. Started this, I think, was like 3 and 6 at one point, but the last few rounds of the half, he's really come alive. And now starting to put up some of those important rounds, those high-impact moments that we knew he was capable of, that we expected from him. And that's another one. This one, more of a half-buy for Drexel, but
gosh.
it's just a little bit of silliness for Trickster to get one out of that.
Eagles meet up in time. Oh, they get two right off it. Ryan is going to be awfully low as well. Going to be Fugi awfully important here. 1v3. Gotta face them all, and that is a blink of an eye. Clutch out of the NECC lead, 15 lead fragging Fugi, who's putting them into the second half with a little bit of hope.
There you go. I mean, we were just saying that nobody joining Ryan at the beginning of this half. No one was available. Now Fugi's here to stay. I have a lot of questions. I feel like NECC's in their mind. I feel like they've already lost this map by the way they're swinging there. But that's something to bring it back. That's something to keep the mental in check and maybe break their way back into a long road ahead of them.
Drexel, they find out a lot of info here at the beginning. Right here, their cat player sees all, so add a couple of variables to this equation, you can see what type of problem it is NECC's looking to form. But here it's stopped up with the big audio cue, just going to be dragging around from Ryan, who pushes into position. There's that Galil, and the rest of the window exposed. It's going to have to be a very nice hit back by Hollow, who's stuck right back at the firebox here of Drexel. Gonna have a round in like this. There's that first out of the SMG, and is now going to be surrounded.
Surrounded and dead. I mean, that smoke doesn't provide any coverage when you're locked in place. Nice shot from Trickster. That's going to continue to delay this bomb plant, but it eventually will go down. Ryan breaking off a crazy fast quick flank, and maybe Foxy can clutch this one up. Spotted on the first. Coverage provided. Oh, they keep giving him swings. They're going to maybe pay the price. One flashbang in, and a dodge on that one. There's another kill. 1v1 for Foxy.
Dancing around it. Drexel looking for 12. Basher with the 1v1 to keep them in the game. Foxy hops off of the bomb against the Gill. Hops back on it. Puts it into an easy decision to get this bomb over the line. It should be Drexel to get 12. And they will.
Oh, no kit either, and just the tightest of margins on that defuse. It's gonna hurt so much worse, because Basher, you think back to that, if he just plays a little bit more of the time game, he probably is gonna win it, but commits to the fight and misses the mark. Drexel at 12, and a heartbreaking loss for NECC in week 2. It might be week 2, a loss on the cards as well. What more can they do?
Flash in the middle. A little bit of a separated buy here, but you remember the last time that Ryan and Co had those MAC times up. It was absolutely farm, but all lined up. Thank goodness you have that AK up into it. Bombs away from Catwalk, and these 3B setup is not finding anything of the rip of this. Could be a nice squeeze onto A if they realize the timing.
Well, I think the timing's already lost. NECC haven't yet scaled any direction. They took a lot of flack, even though they got the opening pick. That's well-founded, but they still need a lot more. Cat play it is. Okay. Maybe for the best. Range. They can play with, though. Foxy swings out. It's a little bit easier against the lesser HP'd opponents. And on the cross, it's too many bodies to take shots at. Too many enemies in position. And the smoke goes up in Hollow's face.
Pushing alongside this, right back and forth. All 3 players right into market now. Drexel to attempt this retake, going all for it now. Why not push it all into the center of the table here? But you are decked, and NECC holds on.
I mean, that's another massive win on a round that, you know, Drexel lose the opening pick, but they initially had the B set up. That's the hesitation that Nichols showed inside mid once they got that control in that opening pick. You know, I was saying they may have missed the timing towards A, but, you know, in doing so, they also make Drexel recombobulate their defense and allows them the avenue out towards B. And Tricks are going back to... Oh my goodness, the R8.
Always good to make a cameo, and at least in my book, I'll allow it. It'll be a quick one. Fugi will look to clean it up. You do a player up top there in B. Hollow wouldn't mind a couple highlights in a round from a Deagle like that, but not sure he's going to get too much more attention with one more player into middle.
Nothing for the road, it seems. What's the score got to be, Mark, for you to start to be a Nichols believer in this comeback?
Honestly, I mean, probably they're going to be able to hit margins, but I think it's rounds that they're taking confidently right before this one. Obviously, it's against the Pistols right here, but it's not a range. It's a feeling I should get. And look, I'm definitely not getting it from 15 frags combined from 3 players. That you're definitely going to need a little bit more coal in the oven to get that burning quick. Otherwise, you're going to be, you know, kind of wilted out of this Mirage soon. But, I mean, I say that. You keep getting frags like this. What a round opener.
Yeah, I mean, well, how about Fugi starting this half at, like, 6 kills? 8 kills? Something like that. And he's at 18. You know, we're not that deep into this. We're just 6 rounds, so... You know, that's something to give you some confidence, that's for sure. Ooh, this is a little scary, though. F gets a double, and now it's like shooting fish in a barrel, though. Fugi goes Glock mode, and now bites. Position not quite known, but the fact that he's here, that's certainly clear. And Trickster, 1v3 maybe. Fugi's got to do it again. He's got to clutch up, and he'll just hold and wait. Where did that bullet go? How has it missed?
So close to it. Right here with that Apex in checked onto 12 health. Here with the MP9. It is an open farm for it, but checked on the 9 mil. And Nichols, they will keep on rolling. Unbelievable scenes here at NECC.
Oh, it's just it's a massive one. Where do you go? If you're Drexel, a gun round. I guess, you know, let's see the gun round come forward, because, you know, it's been aggressive purchases when you have a lead like this. You know, that's understandable. But it's like we're seeing a whole different side of Fugi right now. It's as if he's a whole nother player based on, you know, what we saw in the first half.
You know, it's kind of hard to argue with you, and he keeps making that deal a little bit sweeter, Vincent. 21 frags. Right, if I can, you know, compare the stats between those 2 players, there's 42 frags between those 2 guys here. Fugi sounds in again, 22nd kill, and right here, I think it's Complex Fox getting on the run. M4 just right to your feet in case you needed a replacement, but that bomb goes down anyway.
Fugi providing the coverage. I think this is a save angle, to be honest with you, but they're going to continue to push forward. Now Drexel losing another. Maybe rethinking, but no.
Yeah, you put yourself to the eco right now, you lose this. And obviously with that, you know, intended there with that 8K latch coming down, it's Nichols that are going to be facing off against probably a little bit less than they thought. Where Drexel take a deep breath. It seems like they're kind of coasting along at the end of this Mirage, and I mean, that's a feeling that you want to be able to kind of white out as quickly as you can here, as Nichols been dominating this second half.
Yeah, Drexel get to 12, and it's right then. I mean, a bunch of clutches required. But surely they'll be able to close. I mean, that's my feeling at the very least. Even still, as Nichols have on 6 rounds this half, after an 11-1 scoreline, just showstopper type of performance.
F just crawling in right behind them.
No way, Fugi's.
He finds it.
Wow.
Smelled something of brewing back there, Vincent.
I mean, crazy read from Fugi.
Got right outside. Ryan plays some retakes with an angle red like that, I can tell. MP9 here, gonna be on the run. Bite does frag in for that second. Hollow looks to hold on to the scope, but I think Nichols will be hot on their tail in a moment.
I mean, Hollow gets a bit of a hollow kill, to be honest, at the end. This round. Escape. Sort of made. I should be able to.
Terrorists win.
But I mean, again, it's crazy to see Fugi, stepping up to this degree. Already 19 kills on the half. That is just absurd. 4 more to play, at least for regulation. And at this point, this is where I've been asking you those questions. I think I'm ready to say, I'm believing in what Nichols can do. They've been at the worst of times. They've been in the worst possible position a couple of times on this comeback and still made it happen.
How quickly you're into this one from Drexel, it could just take another 15-second cue to start this thing all around. Here, 3 players start again towards B, a desperate fight up towards Cat, and it's just not going their way off the start of that. Nade delivered right to their door. That should have been a kill. Up for Nichols, start of this thing. Awfully trying hard to throw a little bit of something in there without actually facing off the fights to middle. Where's this boost coming up from?
He's in window here.
No way.
This is crazy for Fugi to be taking this duel. Fortunately, Bite has evacuated. That's the right move for Bite. Over the top, a little bit of a misdirect, hopefully, to allow Drexel to get back into the play. And they have. And that's Ryan going down. That's a key piece to remove.
Dishing out of this, has to dive across, maybe dip back in, but dinked up to begin. Here's Hollow trying to get this spam across, but it's awfully close. Fugi to have this thing locked up with these knives pulled, awfully holding this in CT, ready for the swing, and Trickster on that A4, Vincent. They may have finally got the ground footing for it, where they're going to drop Fugi on the floor one more time. Drexel, they finally put the cap on their own map pick, even with Nichols surviving in crazy circumstances.
Yeah, I mean, that's a close affair, to be honest. Can't believe we're saying that after an 11-1 half mark. That is maybe the most insane turnaround I think I've ever seen, just on an individual level, right? Like, to go from, that level of struggle to that level of style and clutch and opening, like he wasn't missing a mark. You finally got Ryan some of that support, but it was indeed just a little bit too late.
Yeah, and that's what we were talking about, right? I mean, knowing where a guy like him, Fugi, has played before, obviously at top levels of advanced. I looked at it, right? I think, cataloged on his HLTV last in like 2022 on Rain. Obviously worn other jerseys after that, but, definitely advertised into what he can, put out there individually. But as I pointed out, would have loved to see maybe a better effort control for the rest of that team. Obviously they may have not just had it today. 2 quick maps are going to, not really lend you a lot of time to fly all the way back in when you even did have a great chance.
Yeah, it's tough loss for Nichols. That sets them at 0-2, but a bounce back for Drexel after their loss to Syracuse. They'll be 1-1 now going into week 3, which will be coming in the next week. That being said, it won't be us back next week. It's Rainbow Six on next Wednesday, but if you're still interested in what we have here at the NECC for this week, we got Rocket League coming at you tomorrow and Overwatch 2 to help you close things down on Friday. So hopefully you'll stick around and peek in what we've got there for that one. With that being said, it's been a pleasure. We've enjoyed having you here. We hope you will return. We'll see you next time.